SkyAlert USA Weather Report, January 18, 2026. Comprehensive weather script 1700 plus words opening. Welcome back to SkyAlert USA, your most trusted source for critical weather updates across North America. I'm bringing you the latest developments on what has become one of the most dynamic weather patterns we've seen this winter season. Today, Saturday, January 18, 2026. We're tracking multiple significant weather systems affecting the United States and Canada simultaneously, with conditions ranging from dangerous lake effect snow to frigid Arctic blasts and continued atmospheric river activity impacting the West Coast. Current weather situation: Arctic outbreak continues. Polar. The polar vortex has undergone a major disruption due to a stratospheric warming event, releasing Arctic air from the polar regions into the mid-latitudes. This dramatic shift has established a stable cold air corridor extending from southern Canada down through the northern, central, and eastern United States. As of this morning, below-average temperatures dominate the central and eastern two-thirds of the nation. An amplified trough continues, weakening as it swings through the eastern United States this weekend. But the cold air mass behind it remains firmly entrenched. Temperature anomalies are running 10 to 20 degrees below normal from the Great Lakes through the mid-Atlantic states and into the southeast, Great Lakes region. Dangerous lake effect snow event. The Great Lakes region is currently experiencing one of the most intense lake effect snow events of the season. Forecast models estimate 18 to 24 inches of snow could fall by Tuesday in the hardest-hit areas of southwestern Michigan. Cities like Grand Rapids, which have been running below seasonal averages with only 34 inches so far this winter, are about to make up that deficit rapidly. Bands of lake effect snow are producing dangerous snow squalls with extremely low visibility, creating hazardous travel conditions as wind gusts reach up to 40 miles per hour. The National Weather Service has issued winter storm warnings for communities downwind of Lakes Michigan, Erie, Superior, and Ontario, Spays, and upstate New York. Conditions are equally treacherous. Buffalo and the Niagara County area are experiencing lake effect snow bands that drift and reform, with strong wind gusts developing that could reach near 50 miles per hour by Monday. The combination of heavy snowfall rates and blowing snow will create near whiteout conditions, making travel extremely dangerous or impossible at times. Cities like Oswego and Watertown could see between 12 and 24 inches of snow, while Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, and Watertown may receive up to a foot of additional accumulation through Tuesday. The persistent nature of these lake effect bands means that some communities could experience snow rates of 2 to 4 inches per hour during peak intensity. Midwest and Ohio Valley snow, squalls, and bitter cold snow. Squalls may create dangerous travel conditions for portions of Ohio and Pennsylvania through this afternoon. These intense, fast-moving bands of heavy snow are characterized by sudden reductions in visibility to near zero, gusty winds, and rapid temperature drops. Motorists are urged to exercise extreme caution, reduce speed, turn on lights and hazards, and avoid sudden braking if caught in a snow squall. The Arctic cold front, pushing through the Midwest, has brought temperatures tumbling well below freezing. Wind chill values are expected to be particularly dangerous, with some areas experiencing feels-like temperatures in the -20s Fahrenheit. Dangerously cold wind chills are possible by Tuesday morning, creating potentially life-threatening conditions for anyone caught outdoors without proper protection. Northeast Corridor winter weather continues. Day. The Northeast is dealing with multiple rounds of winter weather. Following the passage of the Arctic cold front, coastal areas from Cape Cod to Maine continue to see periodic snow showers. The I-95 corridor experienced snow squalls earlier this morning, bringing brief but intense periods of heavy snow and gusty winds that reduced visibility dramatically. The extended forecast shows deep troughing will cause chilly below-average temperatures in the eastern and northern United States through at least the middle of next week. This pattern will maintain the cold grip across the region while supporting continued lake effect snow production. Southeast states rare cold penetration. One of the most remarkable aspects of this weather pattern is the southward extent of the Arctic air mass. The Arctic front is pushing far enough south to potentially trigger rare snowfall in southern Georgia and northern Florida this weekend. This is an extremely unusual occurrence for mid-January, highlighting the exceptional nature of this cold outbreak. Temperatures across the Florida Panhandle and northern portions of the state are forecast to drop into the mid-20s Fahrenheit by Monday morning. Central Florida will again approach freezing temperatures, raising concerns about agricultural impacts, particularly for citrus crops. The National Weather Service has issued freeze warnings across much of the southeast, advising residents to protect sensitive vegetation and outdoor plumbing. Western United States atmospheric river and mountain snow, squall. While the eastern half of the nation battles Arctic conditions, the western United States faces an entirely different set of challenges. A flood watch and winter storm warning are in effect this weekend, as a major storm brings rain and snow across Northern California. The colder atmospheric river will bring mountain snow throughout the weekend, with rain and snow expected until Tuesday. The Sierra Nevada mountains are bearing the brunt of this system, with some areas forecast to receive up to 5 feet of snow above 6,000 feet elevation. This massive snowfall will create extremely hazardous travel conditions over mountain passes, with Interstate 80 over Donner Pass expected to close periodically due to blizzard conditions. Areas like Vacaville, Sacramento and Marysville could receive up to 2 inches of rain by Sunday, raising flooding concerns in urban areas and along small streams. The National Weather Service warns that heavy rain could lead to flooding in urban and low-lying drainage areas, as well as flash flooding of small streams and rivers flowing out of the mountains. Wind advisories have been issued for the northern and central parts of the Sacramento Valley and adjacent foothills, with south winds expected between 15 to 25 miles per hour and gusts up to 45 miles per hour. The combination of heavy precipitation, strong winds, and rapidly dropping snow levels will make this a particularly impactful event for Northern California. Canadian weather outlook. Temperature forecasts show cold anomalies across Western Canada, which serves as the main source region for the polar air masses affecting both Canada and the northern United States. Southern Canada is experiencing the full force of this Arctic outbreak, with temperatures running significantly below normal across Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritime provinces. Western Canada is dealing with the same lake effect snow machine affecting the U.S. Great Lakes region, with areas downwind of Lake Ontario and Lake Erie seeing substantial average temperatures across Canada in mid-January range from highs around -7.7 degrees Celsius to lows around 13.3 grados bajo cero. Current readings are running several degrees colder than these averages due to the Arctic air mass. 3-day forecast January 19th to 21st, 2026. Sunday, January 19th. The Arctic cold continues to dominate the eastern two-thirds of the United States. Lake effect snow bands will persist across the Great Lakes, though they may shift position slightly based on wind direction changes. The southeast will experience its coldest morning of this event, with widespread freeze conditions. Western states will see continued atmospheric river precipitation, with heavy mountain snow in the Cascades and Sierra Nevada. Extended forecasts show the probability of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance remains less than 5% for most areas, though localized flooding remains possible in Northern California due to the atmospheric river. Monday, January 20th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Strong wind gusts will develop across the Great Lakes region, with lake effect snow bands shifting southward and blowing and drifting snow, creating hazardous conditions. This will be one of the coldest days of the outbreak, with dangerous wind chills across much of the Midwest and Northeast. Detroughing will maintain below average temperatures in the eastern and northern United States. Western states will begin to see a gradual improvement as the atmospheric river weakens, though mountain snow will continue at higher elevations. Tuesday, January 21st. Most of the lake effect snow episode is forecast to wind down by Tuesday morning, though areas near Lake Ontario may continue to see snow bands. Dangerously cold wind chills in the -20s Fahrenheit are possible across the northern tier states and Great Lakes region. The western United States will see drying conditions, with high pressure beginning to build along the Pacific coast. However, the cold pattern in the east will persist, with another potential clipper system approaching the upper Midwest and Great Lakes later in the week. Extended outlook and stratospheric developments. A new stratospheric warming event has been detected in the polar vortex, which is set to shift winter weather patterns across the United States. This development suggests that the current cold pattern may persist or even intensify later in January. The weather pattern will remain favorable for lake effect snow that could become heavy, with the trough potentially broadening westward mid to late week, while becoming shallower to the east. Gulf moisture is forecast to return to the south-central United States by Wednesday and Thursday, which could set up potential wintry precipitation in the middle Mississippi to Ohio Valley region by Friday and Saturday. The La Nina pattern that has been influencing this winter continues to play a role in steering storm tracks and temperature patterns, while La Nina is expected to weaken and transition to neutral conditions by early spring 2026. Its effects remain evident in the current atmospheric setup, with the jet stream displaced southward across the eastern United States. Severe weather and special concerns. While winter weather dominates most of the nation, there are additional concerns worth noting. The rapid temperature fluctuations associated with these Arctic outbreaks can stress infrastructure, particularly water mains and power grids. Communities across the Midwest and Northeast should be prepared for potential utility disruptions. The combination of heavy lake-effect snow and strong winds creates not only travel hazards but also significant concerns about roof loads, particularly for flat-roofed commercial structures. Property owners in heavy snow areas should monitor accumulations and consider snow removal when totals exceed design limits. Agricultural interests across the southeast face potential crop damage from the unseasonably cold temperatures. Citrus growers in Florida and farmers across Georgia and the Carolinas are taking protective measures for sensitive crops and livestock. Given the severity and scope of these weather events, SkyAlert USA urges viewers to take the following precautions. For lake-effect snow areas, avoid all non-essential travel during peak snowband activity. If you must travel, carry winter survival kits, including blankets, food, water, and flashlights. Keep gas tanks at least half full. Be prepared for sudden whiteout conditions and know that weather can vary dramatically over just a few miles. For Arctic cold areas, limit time outdoors to prevent frostbite and hypothermia. Dress in layers, cover all exposed skin, and check on elderly neighbors and vulnerable populations. Bring pets indoors and ensure outdoor animals have adequate shelter. Protect pipes from freezing by allowing faucets to drip and keeping cabinet doors open under sinks. For western rain and snow areas, avoid travel through mountain passes unless absolutely necessary and chains are equipped. Never attempt to drive through flooded roadways. Monitor local emergency management communications for evacuation orders in flood-prone areas. Closing statement. This multifaceted weather event represents one of the most significant winter patterns we've tracked this season. The combination of Arctic cold, prolific lake-effect snow, and atmospheric river activity demonstrates the complex and sometimes dangerous nature of midwinter weather systems across North America. Stay tuned to SkyAlert USA for continuous updates as this situation evolves. Remember to monitor local National Weather Service forecasts and warnings for your specific area, and never underestimate the dangers posed by winter weather. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay aware. This is SkyAlert USA, keeping you one step ahead of the storm.